The cameras of Screen Sport bring you exclusive pictures of one of the most spectacular and dangerous sports in the world today. It's World Championship Speedway action. This week we go to Sweden. Hello and welcome along to Linköping in Sweden for the 1990 staging of the Scandinavian Speedway final. 6 riders from Denmark, 6 from Sweden and 2 from Norway and Finland contesting this meeting, and all of these riders looking for 7 places only to progress further in the World Championship trail, and that is the Intercontinental final, which takes place in Fjellsted, Denmark on August the 12th. And obviously the goal then is to get to the big one, the World Individual Speedway Champion, which this season goes to Oslo Stadium in Bradford in England on Saturday, September the 1st. Well, the scene is set, the weather is fine, the track is in superb condition. Let's see how they progress in 28 of superb speedway action. So with a 15-minute delay due to getting the large crowd into this picturesque setting in Linköping in Sweden, the riders now, nerves set as they meet the crowd, are presented to the large Swedish crowd which have turned up in their droves to support the 6 Swedish riders that are through, and I can tell you there's also a large contingent of Danish people who have made the trip across the small sea that separates these 2 countries. There we're looking down the line, Brian Carger with the OK on his race jacket. Come on Brian, give us a smile. Very nervous young lad, failed at this stage of the competition in 1989, how to do better in 1990. So heat number 1, Jano Peterson in red, Kai Niemi from Finland in blue, Conny Iversen from Sweden in white, and there in yellow and black, the current world individual speedway champion, Hans Nielsen. The 1990 Scandinavian final is about to get underway. And away they drive from the start, and the first to show is Jano Peterson and Conny Iversen as well. Hans Nielsen driving around the outside is in his last position at the moment. Well, that's the first shock already, as early as the first turn in heat number 1, but it's Jano Peterson from Denmark with 1 lap gone in first place. Conny Iversen from Sweden in second place, and the wary old Finn Kai Niemi in third. Peterson looks over his shoulder, sees there's a fair gap between him and Conny Iversen. But the surprise is that Hans Nielsen is way back in 4th place, and we have to ask if he's got mechanical problems. He certainly is not looking down at his machine, but it's a rare sight to see Hans Nielsen way back in 4th place and totally out of things. Peterson in red, Conny Iversen in blue with 1 lap to go of this opening race in the Nordic Speedway Championship final of 1990. As the sun blazes down in Linköping in Sweden, it's the tiny Dane, Jano Peterson, who comes up to take the checker flag. Peterson wins, 3 points for him, 2 points for the man in second place, who's Conny Iversen from Sweden, and 1 to Kai Niemi. And the world champion Hans Nielsen is back in 4th place with no points after his first outing in heat number 1. So heat number 2, and there in red is Peter Norlin from Sweden, the 16th and final qualifier for this meeting. He came through the reserves race on practice day on the Friday, again the 16th qualifying place. He's in red going into gate number 1. Jens Henry Nielsen, Hans Nielsen's brother, is in blue in gate 2. Henrik Gustafsson white, gate 3, and Arnt Forland, the Norwegian rider, in yellow and black in gate number 4. That's the lineup for heat number 2. We've already had one major surprise with Hans Nielsen trailing home in 4th place in heat number 1. We just wonder what 19 races have got left in store for us in this 1990 Nordic final. The green light goes on, the tapes rise and away they roll, and the first to show is the rider in blue, which is Henry Nielsen, but coming around the outside is Arnt Forland. Gustafsson now overtaking Peter Norlin for 3rd place. Gustafsson driving around the outside of Jens Henry Nielsen, but it's the Norwegian which is a bit of a surprise after 1 lap. Arnt Forland in 1st place, Henke Gustafsson 2nd, Jens Henry Nielsen 3rd. Oh wow, my word, this would be a little bit of a surprise upturn for the books yet again in this Nordic final if Forland can hold on. 2 laps gone. It's Gustafsson with the work to do. Forland drifting out slightly wide. Can Gustafsson cut underneath? They're getting very close now. Gustafsson making up a tremendous amount of ground, now trying the outside line, cutting back. Has he got the speed as he goes to the yellow flag? 1 more lap to go, still Forland in front. Gustafsson on the outside. Then can he do it down the back straight? Gustafsson with a challenge on the inside. Gustafsson cuts underneath Forland. Gustafsson's there. Oh, and down goes Arnt Forland, but it's Gustafsson who takes the checker flag. Arnt Forland is the faller. Coming through to 2nd place is Peter Norlin, and Jens Henry Nielsen gets a 1 point. But my word, what a brave ride from this rider in white. Henrik Gustafsson from Sweden, who gets 3 points as he wins heat number 2.
Ja, efter den mycket dramatiska heaten så åker Arnstrand omkull och det var ju väldigt otur för honom. Det var hård kuppning där, men jag tyckte att det gick schysst till.
Well, let's take another look in slow motion of that incident on the last bend of heat number 2. It gets very close, but as you can see, no, was there any contact? Well, referee Frank Ebden from England says no. I'm sure that 1 or 2 other people will say yes, but it's Henrik Gustafsson who gets the 3 points as he wins heat number 2. So heat number 3, the excitement carrying on. Dennis Lufquist from Sweden red, Brian Carger Denmark blue, Einar Killingstad from Norway 3, and Jan Petersen gate 4, heat number 3. And away they drive from the start, and the first to show is Dennis Lufquist in red and Brian Carger in blue. Brian Carger from Denmark and of course rides for Swindon in the British League. Dennis Lufquist from Sweden and Kings Lynn in the British League. These are the two in the forefront, with Einar Killingstad in 3rd place at the moment. Well, Carger reached this stage of the World Championship last season, but failed in the sunshine of Tampa. Oh my word, and now all of a sudden 2 riders whiz past Brian Carger. It's Dennis Lufquist now in 1st place, Einar Killingstad 2nd, Brian Carger 3rd. And well, it looks very much to me as though Carger has got problems with his engine. He's looking round to see whether he can hold out the rider in yellow, Jan Petersen from Denmark. But it's Dennis Lufquist from Sweden who's speeding away from the field, but surely looking good for 3 points as he gets well clear of Einar Killingstad. Brian Carger sadly now back at the rear of the field, and after making the early pace in heat number 3. But this gentleman won't mind. From Sweden and from the tiny island of Gotland, it's going to be the rider in red, Dennis Lufquist, who wins. 2nd place is Einar Killingstad. In 3rd place is Jan Petersen, and Brian Carger, sadly no points after leading after 1.5 laps. Dennis Lufquist, the winner of heat number 3. So heat number 4, Olli Travainen from Finland in red, Per Jonsson from Sweden blue, Bo Petersen from Denmark white, and Jimmy Nilsson from Sweden in yellow and black. That's the lineup for heat number 4. So we've got a Finn, a Dane and 2 Swedes. Very Scandinavian for this particular heat. Watch for the riders in blue and yellow and black, the 2 Swedes. Represent Sweden in the World Pairs in the forthcoming weeks. 2 riders both represent Stockholm United in the Swedish Elite League. And certainly they'll be the 2 to watch as the tapes rise on heat number 4. Starting marshal calling them in. Frank Ebden puts the green light on. And away they drive from the start, and who is going to be the first one to show? It's Jonsson in blue, Nielsen in yellow, but it's Jonsson just with his nose in front at the moment. Has he got the speed down the back straight? Yes, he has. So it's Per Jonsson just in front of Jimmy Nilsson 2nd. As one expected, these 2 Swedes with 1 lap gone are setting the pace in heat number 4. Bo Petersen in 3rd place, holding out Olli Travainen, who's in 4th, but it's the action style of Per Jonsson, who of course rides for the Reading 4X Racers in the British League. Jimmy Nilsson in 2nd place, Bo Petersen 3rd. Certainly Per Jonsson looking very, very good at the moment. 1 more lap to go in heat number 4. This will be, all the riders now had their first outing in this Nordic final. And Jonsson looking set surely for 3 points, barring engine failure or a fall in the last 2 turns. And he's too wise for a fall. So Jonsson coming out of the final turn, looks over his shoulder. It's Jonsson that wins. Jimmy Nilsson in 2nd place and Bo Petersen in 3rd. So 3 good points for Per Jonsson as he wins heat number 4. 2 points for Jimmy Nilsson and 1 for Bo Petersen.
How many riders would you hope to get along? I mean, there are only 7 riders now going out of the Nordic to the Intercontinental. I mean, usually the Danes have had 5 or 6, you know, the last years. I mean, how many would you expect this year?
Well, to be realistic, I would say we'll be glad if we get three riders through, but and be happy for 4. And we've had the problem that we lost Erik Gundersen and Tommy Knudsen over the last year or so, and of course they're riders that you always could count on that would go through a round like this. And this year we only have, you know, a few of the pro riders from England and a couple of amateurs only riding in Denmark, and they might run into a bit of trouble. So 3, I would be satisfied with 3, and very happy if we get 4 through to the Intercontinental final.
So the action continues with heat number 5. Jimmy Nielsen in red, 2 on the trot for James. Jano Peterson in blue, winner first time out. And we also learned he's broke the track record at Linköping. 61.2 seconds for Jano, that's knocking 1.5 seconds off the existing one. Peter Nalin in white in gate 3, and Einar Killingstad from Norway in gate 4. Starting marshal calling them in, asking Jimmy Nielsen to move slightly over into his own grid in gate number 1. So the green light goes on, and the tapes rise, and who is going to be the first one that hits the first turn? It's Jimmy Nielsen in red, with Peter Nalin in white in second place, and Jano Peterson missing the gate completely on that one. Still the Swedish pair in first and second place, Jano Peterson third, Einar Killingstad really all over the place in fourth place. But it's Jimmy Nielsen with 1 lap gone. Peter Nalin still holding on to second place, and Jano Peterson snapping at his heels, which gives Jimmy Nielsen all that time to get further in front. But now through comes Pedersen to sneak in the second place with 2 laps gone. It's Jimmy Nielsen first, Jano Peterson second, Peter Nalin third. Now can Peterson make up any ground on Jimmy Nielsen? Einar Killingstad way back in fourth place. 1 more lap to go. Still Jimmy Nielsen in first. No problem on the back of his leathers, and at the moment it certainly isn't, but can Jano Peterson do anything about it? Now the final 2 turns of heat number 5, it's going to be a good win for Jimmy Nielsen, who takes a checker flag. Jano Peterson in second place, Peter Nalin in third, but Jimmy Nielsen is a good winner of heat number 5 and inflicts a defeat on Jano Peterson, who broke the track record in heat number 1. So heat number 6, Per Jonsson, winner first time out in red in gate 1. Dennis Lufquist, winner first time out, he's in blue in gate 2. Kainimi in white gate 3, and Henrik Gustafsson in yellow and black in heat in gate number 4, and this could be a real cracker. The tapes rise, and Jonsson gets a good gate from gate 1. Jonsson in first place, Kainimi second, Dennis Lufquist third, and Henke here. Gustafsson back in fourth place at the moment. But now Gustafsson trying to drive around the pack. Cuts underneath, Kainimi through to third. Jonsson first, Dennis Lufquist second, Gustafsson third, driving round Dennis Lufquist with considerable ease. Now setting his sights on Per Jonsson, which could be just a little bit of different kettle of fish. 2 laps gone, Per Jonsson in front, Henrik Gustafsson second. We've got a race on our hands here. Dennis Lufquist back in third. Kainimi tailed off in fourth. Gustafsson trying the outside line. Jonsson goes out as well. Dennis Lufquist comes very close to Gustafsson. We're on the last lap of heat number 6. Per Jonsson with some breathing space between him and Henrik Gustafsson in second. So 3 points surely for Per Jonsson. It's the battle for second and third. Who's going to get the Jonsson takes the checker flag. It's just Gustafsson that holds on. Dennis Lufquist gets the 1 point in third place, and Kainimi in fourth place. So Per Jonsson looking pretty good as he gets his second win by winning heat number 6. So heat number 7, Brian Carger in red, who was very unfortunate first time out with engine failure. Ollie Trevainen in blue, Jens Henry Nielsen in white, and Connie Iversen from Sweden in yellow and black. And away they drive from the start, and the first to show is Brian Carger yet again. Brian Carger, but look at Connie Iversen in yellow and black. Connie Iversen from Vetlanda Speedway in the Swedish Elite League drives round Brian Carger. So Connie Iversen it is. Oh my word, drifts out very wide. Can Carger make up any ground? Still Carger in second place. Jens Henry Nielsen back in third. And Ollie Trevainen tailed off in fourth place. So Connie Iversen, who surprised a few by getting this far, but those who know him, he's a very sturdy and tidy rider. Still producing the goods in the Swedish Elite League, but now Brian Carger trying to make up ground on the inside. Iversen's got his work cut out to keep Brian Carger back in second place. 1 more lap to go in heat number 7. Connie Iversen in yellow, Brian Carger red, Jens Henry Nielsen in white. So this will be a good scalp for Connie Iversen. If he can hold on 2 points in his first outing, he'll be on 5 points after 2 rides, and it's Everson that wins. Brian Carger in second place, and Jens Henry Nielsen back in third. So Connie Everson gets the 3 points as he wins heat number 7. So heat number 8, and Hans Nielsen with perhaps the first time in World Championship Speedway for a long time, a little bit of pressure on him. He's in red, no points so far. Gate 1, Arndt Forlund from Norway, an unfortunate faller in his first outing. Jan Petersen in white, and Bo Petersen in yellow-black. Heat number 8. Hans Nielsen gets an absolute flyer from gate 1. It's Hans Nielsen already as they come out of the second turn. Oh my word, the rider in yellow. Bo Petersen coming underneath Hans. Bo Petersen in yellow and black caught the World Championship. Oh my, Nielsen drives underneath Bo Petersen. With 1 lap gone, we've already had the lead, changing hands twice. But it's Hans Nielsen at the moment just ahead of Bo Petersen. Jan Petersen third, and Arndt Forlund back in 4th place. So with 2 laps gone, it's Hans Nielsen who looks to be back in the fray of things, although he did have a fright on the first lap. With Bo Petersen, the veteran we've got to say off Danish Speedway. But it's Hans Nielsen in the red helmet colour with 1 more lap to go. Still Bo Petersen in second place, Jan Petersen in third, and around the final 2 turns, 2 bends of heat number 8, it's going to be Hans Nielsen who takes the checker flag. Hans Nielsen wins. In second place is Bo Petersen. In third place, Jan Petersen. So the world champion is back amongst the points. So Per Janssen leading on 6, Jimmy Nielsen, Henrik Gustafsson and Connie Everson on 5, with Jano Petersen and Dennis Lufquist on 4. Join us after the break.
Emerging from the shadows of ancient mythology, the power of the new gods. Modern engineering fights historic terrain. In the warm air, exhaust fumes compete with the tang of Mediterranean herds. En route, spectators compete for prime sights. From the lap of the gods, the Acropolis Rally, Monday at 6 on Screen Sport. The ultimate amphitheater.
Get pen and paper ready. You can order the following product by phone. Are you ready for more car wars? More crashes and smashes, more thrills and spills, more incidents and accidents, more near misses and miraculous escapes, all from top professional motorsport. Fasten your seatbelt for the hottest show on wheels. It's more car wars. Plus, wacky racers. Watch drivers and riders tackle the craziest, muckiest, wildest ever motorsport challenges from the dunes of the North African desert to the swamps of Madagascar. They're crazy, they're wild, they're wacky racers. Order this brilliant double video pack by phone now. More car wars and wacky racers come with a no-risk money-back guarantee. Please allow 21 days for delivery. Order more car wars and wacky racers by phone now.
So welcome back to Linköping in Sweden, heat number 9 of this Nordic Scandinavian Speedway final. Henrik Gustafsson is in red, Bo Petersen in blue, Jano Petersen in white, and Brian Carger in yellow and black. So 2 riders on 5, 1 on 3 and 1 on 2. And we're in for some cracking racing as the sun still beats down on a wonderful setting here in Linköping in Sweden. Starting marshal calling him in now. Bo Petersen, the last one to go in. He's now happy. We wait for the start of heat number 9. And away they drive from the start. And the first one to show is Jano Petersen in white from Denmark. Henrik Gustafsson and Brian Carger dicing. It's Carger in second place, Gustafsson third, and Bo Petersen back in fourth. But Jano Petersen and Brian Carger, the 2 Danes, doing the biz. Oh my word! Bo Petersen has taken out Henrik Gustafsson completely. He clipped him, and Gustafsson is on the track in some discomfort. Oh my word, a bit of tragedy for the 19-year-old who really is the highlight of Swedish Speedway at the moment. Became a father just 14 days ago to tiny Simon. We keep our fingers crossed. Let's take another look at that. Bo Petersen all over the place, comes out, just T-bones Henrik Gustafsson completely and sends the youngster from Kumla flying over the top of his handlebars. and we'll have to wait and see if poor Henke can take his place. We see the blue light is on, so Bo Peterson has been excluded from the restart of heat number 9. We just keep our fingers crossed that Henrik Gustafsson is okay to take his place in the restart. There we see Henrik Gustafsson in caption, the long-haired boy. Bo Peterson, who's been excluded, that's the cause of the stoppage. I don't think there's any argument about that, but there he is, look, 19 years of age. Doesn't seem none the worse for the wear. The crowd, I must tell you, in Sweden are so enthusiastic these days. It's a brand new era of Swedish racing. 1990, the Elite League is supposed to be the best in the world, and I can tell you that it certainly is. And Henrik Gustafsson is one of the characters who really makes it a treat to watch that particular league. So heat number 9, and thankfully Henrik Gustafsson taking his place in the red helmet colour. So just 3 riders only. Henrik Gustafsson in red, no rider in blue, Jano Peterson in white, and Brian Carger in yellow and black. That's the 3 riders for the restart of heat number 9. The way they drive from the start, who's the first one to show? Well, it's the same rider, it's Jano Peterson in white, Brian Carger in yellow and black, trying to drive down the outside. Just hasn't quite got the speed. Henrik Gustafsson back in 3rd. Peterson so immaculate on that machine, tuned to perfection by Otto Weiss from Germany. On those engines. Brian Carger back in 2nd place. A broken rocker arm was diagnosed for his engine failure first time out. The young Dane. Jano Peterson still in 1st place, Carger 2nd, and Gustafsson probably thankful to be in this race and getting the 1 point. But still, Jano Peterson, of course, who rides in the English League for Craigie Heath in the Midlands at Dudley Wood. The all-action tiny Dane. He's been so unlucky at World Championships never to win the title. Is 1990 going to be his year? He comes up to take the checker flag. It's Jano Peterson that wins. Brian Carger 2nd, Henrik Gustafsson 3rd. So Jano Peterson from Denmark gets 3 more points as he wins heat number 9. So heat number 10, Jan Peterson in red, Peter Nolin in blue, Ollie Travainen in white, and Kai Niemi in yellow and black. Well, Kai Niemi in yellow and black is the veteran Finn, there's no argument about that. He's retired from conventional league racing, just taking his part in World Championship events in 1990. And he's on the outside as it takes rise on heat number 10, and the first to show is Peter Nolin from Sweden. But just look, driving around the outside is Finland's Kai Niemi. Kai Niemi it is, with a new lease of life in heat number 10. Kai Niemi in 1st place, Peter Nolin in 2nd, and Ollie Travainen in 3rd, and Jan Peterson back in 4th. So Kai Niemi certainly showing people that he can still do the business. So many clubs he's rode for in the British League, the list is endless. The last of which was last season with the Coventry Bees in the Midland at Brandon Stadium. Peter Nolin was very hopeful of trying to win this one. He looked down the programme before the meeting and said that heat number 10 was one he wanted desperately to win to get the 3 points. But he's got some work to do to catch up this man in yellow and black, Kai Niemi. Still in 3rd place is Ollie Travainen from Finland. So a 4-2, dare we say, to Finland at the moment, with Kai Niemi going around the final 2 bends of heat number 10. Looks over his shoulder, it's Kai Niemi that wins. Peter Nolin 2nd, and Ollie Travainen back in 3rd. So in a lovely, nice set of leathers, it's Kai Niemi with number 2 on his back who gets the 3 points. Peter Nolin gets 2 and 1 to Ollie Travainen. Kai Niemi is the winner of heat number 10. So heat number 11, Arnt Forland in red, Einar Killingstad in blue, both of those riders from Norway. Conor Iversen in white and Per Jonsson in yellow and black, those 2 from Sweden on the outside 2 gates. Well, Arnt Forland was very unfortunate in his first outing, you may recall heat number 2, when he fell on the final bend. He certainly looked a livor in that particular race. Let's see if he can mix it with the 2 experienced Swedish riders on the outside. Starting marshal calling them in. He's now walking away. We wait for the green light to go on. It does. And away they drive from the start of heat number 11. And the first to show is the 2 Swedes. Jonsson on the outside. Iversen on the inside of him. But it's Per Jonsson from Stockholm United, just with his nose in front from Connie Iversen from Vetlanda. Well, if he can hold on, Jonsson will go in the interval stage here at Linköping, unbeaten on 9 points. But he's got just over 3 more laps to do yet. Conn Iversen in second place. Still Iversen in white in second place. Arndt Forland in red is in third. But Per Jonsson looking very neat and tidy in first place at the moment. We've lost Einar Killingstad with engine failure. But still these three doing the biz out on the circuit. And Per Jonsson now beginning to extend that lead over Conn Iversen in second place. And he's surely got 1 foot on the doorstep, shall we say, of that Intercontinental final. Round the last 2 bends. From Sweden, it's going to be Per Jonsson that takes the checker flag. Jonsson wins. And the race to the line, and Conn Iversen is pipped on the line by Arndt Forland from Norway. Conn Iversen looks down at his machine, which gives way. So heat number 12, the last one before the interval stage of this Scandinavian final. Jimmy Nielsen red, Hans Nielsen blue, Dennis Lufquist in white, and Jens Henry Nielsen in yellow and black. This is heat number 12. Jimmy Nielsen on 5, Hans Nielsen 3, Lufquist 4, and Jens Henry Nielsen, yellow and black, is on 2. You may recall Jens Henry has taken part in the ice racing scene, particularly this winter in the Oulu quarter-final, which we brought to you on exclusively on Screensport. Away they drive from the start of heat number 12, and the first to show, not too unpredictable, was Hans Nielsen. Hans Nielsen in blue, Jimmy Nielsen in white, and Dennis Lufquist, sorry, Jimmy Nielsen red, Dennis Lufquist in white, and at the back is Jens Henry Nielsen in yellow and black. So Hans Nielsen, with 1 lap gone, is in first position, pole place. Jimmy Nielsen trying to put pressure on him. Dennis Lufquist back in third. Lucken, as he's known in Sweden. But Hans Nielsen in the blue helmet colour, under a little bit of pressure after that Duff first ride. Now coming back to do the biz. This will be his second win of the evening here in Linköping, if he can hold on. Still Jimmy Nielsen in second place, and Dennis Lufquist back in third. So 1 more lap to go in heat number 12. And the familiar style of the Toyota Kid, Hans Nielsen, from of course the Oxford Cheetahs camp in the British League. He led them to the British League title in 1989. He comes out of the final bend to win heat number 12. It's Hans Nielsen who wins, Jimmy Nielsen second, and in third place is Dennis Lufquist. So there we are, Hans Nielsen on 6 points as he wins the race before the interval stage here in Linköping, heat number 12. So there we see the scoreboard. For all riders, they've had 3 outings. Per Jonsson unbeaten on 9 points. Jano Peterson of Denmark just dropped the 1 point to Jimmy Nielsen. Heat 5 is on 8. Jimmy Nielsen 7. 3 riders on 6. Conn Iversen, Henrik Gustafsson from Sweden, and Hans Nielsen from Denmark. And 1 rider on 5, Dennis Lufquist from Sweden. So the pace really hotting up here in Linköping as we progress to now the second half of this Scandinavian final. There's Jano Peterson just putting on his crush helmet for heat number 13. Yellow and black is Jano Peterson in this race. Jano, one of the dynamic dames of British League Speedway and World Speedway these days. Sadly lost Eric Gunderson last season through that horrific crash in the World Team Cup final in Bradford Odsel Stadium in September. Jano to partner Hans Nielsen in the World Pairs for Denmark in this season's outing, and one of the co-favourites for the World Individual Championship in 1990. Sponsored by Otto Weiss, the engine tuner from Germany, Amsperchasm, a bank in Denmark, and Castrol Oil, of course, supplying him with the necessary fuel and equipment. Well, he's up against the rider in white there. That's, of course, Per Jonsson, unbeaten at the halfway stage from Stockholm United. He's on 9 points, so something's got to give as the tape strides on heat number 13. The full lineup: Jens Henry Nielsen in red, Jan Petersen blue, Per Jonsson white, and Jano Petersen in yellow and black. So the riders there, the starting marshal walks away, the green light's on and away they drive. First time the tapes let up very, very quick indeed. And it's Jens Henry Nielsen is the first to show Per Jonsson on the outside. Per Jonsson, if Warmeier just gets his nose in front, Jens Henry Nielsen still second. Janno Petersen round the outside of Jens Henry Nielsen, now making up ground on Per Jonsson. So one lap gone is Jonsson, but just look at Pedersen. Jonsson looks over his shoulder, tries to get the bike down, it lifts, but Janno Petersen is through. The tiny Dane in yellow and black coming up to complete his second lap is through to first place. Third to first in 2 laps, number 1 on his back. And who would doubt that this Dane will have that feat at Oxford Stadium on September the 1st. Certainly in tremendous form. One more lap to go, putting up a commanding lead in heat number 13. Janno Petersen from Denmark in yellow and black. Still Per Jonsson in second place in white. Jens Henry Nielsen, who was the prize packet on the first lap, is back in 3rd place. But to take the checker flag, it's Janno Petersen that wins. Per Jonsson in 2nd place. Jens Henry Nielsen gets the solitary point. But Janno Petersen doing the business in the first 2 laps comes from 3rd to 1st to collect 3 points as he wins heat number 13. So heat number 14, red, winner last time out, Kai Niemi, blue, Jimmy Nielsen, white, Arndt Forland, in yellow and black is Brian Carger. Well, Brian Carger suffered the engine problems first time out, he desperately needs the points. So does Kai Niemi. One would imagine Arndt Forland is now out of contention. And Jimmy Nielsen on 7 points. Well, 7, a couple more would secure his future into the Intercontinental final. And with the lineup, he'd be looking for the 2 points in heat number 14. He goes into gate number 2 in the blue helmet colour. Kai Niemi on the inside will be the one to watch as the tapes rise on heat number 14. And the way they drive in the first to show, oh my word, arms and shoulders flying everywhere from Kai Niemi and Jimmy Nielsen. But it's just Kai Niemi at the moment, but Jimmy Nielsen cuts underneath him. So Jimmy Nielsen through to first place. Kai Niemi and Brian Carger having a rare old battle for 2nd place. It's just Carger now coming through. So Kai Niemi with the arms and that going on the entrance to the first turn is now back in 3rd place. But Jimmy Nielsen in blue, Brian Carger in yellow, so Sweden versus Denmark with 2 laps gone. Just Jimmy Nielsen holding on, looks over his shoulder, he sees that Carger's not that far behind, he can't afford to make a mistake. Carger trying the outside line, makes up a bit of ground, but Nielsen pulling away from him. 1 more lap to go. Down the back straight for the final time. Jimmy Nielsen in the blue helmet colour, just holding on to Brian Carger in 2nd place in yellow. Coming up to take the fleckered flag is Jimmy Nielsen who wins. Brian Carger in 2nd place and Kai Niemi holding on to 3rd. So 3 points to Jimmy Nielsen, 2 to Brian Carger and 1 to Kai Niemi. So that puts Jimmy Nielsen now on to 10 points as he wins heat 14. So heat number 15, Bo Petersen red, Connie Everson blue, Dennis Lufquist in white and Peter Norlin in yellow and black. So 2 riders on 5 and 1 on 6, and Bo Petersen in red. Well, he needs a few more points from this particular outing. Heat number 15. Three Swedes and 1 Dane as they drive from the start, and who's going to be the first to show is Connie Everson in blue with his nose in front. Coming around the outside in white is Dennis Lufquist. Has he got the speed? Not quite. Connie Everson holding on. Lufquist coming around the outside of him. Dennis Lufquist, who really has been doing the biz for Kings Lynn in the British League, cuts underneath Connie Everson. Has he got the power? My word, we've got a good scrap on our hands here in heat 15. Peter Norlin back in 3rd place and Bo Petersen 4th. But all eyes are on the first 2. Bo Petersen now overtaking Peter Norlin, which is a bit of a surprise. But all eyes on the first 2 with Connie Everson just holding on to the lead from Dennis Lufquist. Still it is Everson in the blue helmet colour and the blue leathers with 1 more lap to go. Crane Technique is his sponsors in Vetlanda. They'll be watching every move here in this Nordic final, willing him to go on through to the big one, the World Final in Bradford. The last 2 bends, has he got the speed? Dennis Lufquist to make up ground. Can he do it? No, it's just Everson that wins. Dennis Lufquist in 2nd place. Bo Petersen holds on the 3rd. But it's good scrap, and wow, look at the sportsmanship. 2 good Swedish Speedway riders. But it's Connie Everson in the blue helmet colour gets the 3 points. Dennis Lufquist 2 and Bo Peterson 1. Everson wins heat number 15. So heat number 16, Einar Killingstad in red, Henrik Gustafsson in blue, Hans Nielsen in white, and Ollie Trevainen in yellow and black. Well, Hans Nielsen has bounced back with 2 heat wins after a duff first outing. In the interval, he tells us that his engine was seizing up and he just decided to drift round to try and get the point if anybody fell off or had engine problems. So now out to try and get his 3rd win of the Scandinavian final. Henrik Gustafsson in blue. Just damaged his thumb in that spill in heat number 9. And in red, Einar Killingstad, while on 2 points, sadly out of things, but he could mix it in this particular heat. So the 2 to watch really will be blue, Henrik Gustafsson, and in white, Hans Nielsen. The starting marshal's getting a little bit impatient with Einar Killingstad. Calling him now into the line. He's clear, the green light goes on, and the tapes rise on heat number 16, and who's going to get to the first bend? It's Hans Nielsen in white. Hans Nielsen in white, first to show. Then the back straight is Hans Nielsen, yellow and black is Ollie Trevainen second. Now Henrik Gustafsson coming up to put pressure on Ollie Trevainen. Gustafsson back in 3rd, which is a little bit of a surprise to say the least. Especially that you see Ollie Trevainen in 2nd place. Oh look, Henrik Gustafsson coming up alongside Ollie Trevainen. Hans Nielsen well clear of the pack, but all eyes are on the battle for 2nd and 3rd place. 2 laps gone, and just look at these 2, you could throw a blanket over them. Yellow and black is the Finn. Ollie Trevainen in blue from Sweden. Is the crowd are getting very, very excited, willing him on to win. Henrik Gustafsson cuts underneath Ollie Trevainen. Has he got the speed with 1 more lap to go? Still Trevainen holds on. Hans Nielsen still one in front. Trevainen just wide. Can Gustafsson make up any ground? It's neck and neck as they enter the final 2 turns. Trevainen on the outside. Gustafsson on the inside. Cuts underneath him. It's a race to line. Gustafsson just gets there. And Ollie Trevainen is in 3rd. Just listen to the crowd go crazy. It's Hans Nielsen that wins. He just wasn't aware of what was happening behind him. I'm sure he thinks the applause is for him. But 3 points to Hans Nielsen, 2 for Henrik Gustafsson, and 1 for Ollie Trevainen. And a good race and a good scrap in heat number 16. So there we are, all the riders had 4 outings. Janno Peterson on 11 with Per Jonsson, Jimmy Nielsen on 10, Connie Everson on 9 with Hans Nielsen, Henrik Gustafsson 8, and Dennis Lufquist 7. Join us after the break.
Screen Sport is now available in English, French, German and Dutch. If you're watching the channel on cable and are not hearing the language you would like, please contact your cable operator. If you have your own dish, you can select the language you want to hear. English can be found at a frequency of 7.2 MHz.
Français sur la fréquence 738 MHz.
Die frequentie voor Duits is 10,02 MHz.
Nederlands zit op de frequentie 7,56 MHz.
Contact your dealer for further information.
And here's the pitch. There it goes!
Which is your favorite baseball team? The New York Yankees, the Los Angeles Dodgers, the Boston Red Sox, the Chicago Cubs, the New York Mets, or maybe another team. You can watch your team week after week throughout the season. Complete games followed by a highlight show of all the league action, all on a giant 3-hour video cassette. The team you want, the complete game you want, all with the original commentary, original excitement. Posted in the UK only days after the action in the USA. Order 6 and get the baseball guide free as a bonus. 550 pages, statistics, pictures, records, and this year's game schedule. 1 million facts at your fingertips. Weekly tapes are only £6.99 plus £1 postage. Order 1 or as many as you like, no obligation. To watch your favorite team in baseball, basketball, or college football anywhere in the world, call Pontel on the worldwide hotline now.
Welcome back to Linköping for the conclusion of this 1990 Scandinavian final. Heat number 17, next on the agenda, Janno Peterson red, Arndt Forlund blue, Vas Velner from Finland, the reserve, coming in white, and Dennis Lufquist is in yellow and black. So Janno Pedersen, if he can win this outing, ends up on 14 and would guarantee a run-off at least for first place here in the Nordic Championship. But he's got to win this one, and Dennis Lundqvist will be his main threat in the yellow and black helmet colour in gate number 4. This is heat number 17. Away they drive from the start, and the first to show, yes, as expected, is Janno Pedersen, with Dennis Lundqvist trying to make up ground. Janno Pedersen red, Lundqvist in yellow, the two to watch. The reserve, Ilnen from Finland, holding on to third place from Arnt Forland, who's tailed off since that great escapade in heat number 2. But it's Janno Pedersen from Denmark, setting his sights on 3 more points and a 14-point tally with 2 laps gone. Still Dennis Lundqvist in second place. But it's all about points, all about places, and the top 7, as you know, go through to that Intercontinental final. And these last 4 outings will determine just who they are, with 1 more lap to go in heat 17. And all the calculators, all the business has been done. They all know what they've got to do. This fella, though, in red is already there, but he would dearly like to get this Scandinavian title. He comes out to take the checker flag. It's Janno Pedersen that wins. Second place in yellow is Dennis Lundqvist. It's Ilnen from Finland who holds on to third place. But Janno Pedersen from Denmark gets 3 points, and he ends up on 14. 2 from Dennis Lundqvist, he ends up on 9. And 1 point for the reserve, but it's a good win for Janno Pedersen in heat number 17. So heat number 18, Einar Kringstad red, Kai Niemi blue, Jens Henry Nielsen in white, and Bo Pedersen in yellow and black. Well, not much to ride for these. Kai Niemi could possibly just get a run-off for reserve place if he wins on the blue gate, in blue helmet colour, shall I say, in gate number 2, but for the others, sadly, it's going to have to be wait for under the air. Starting Marshall calling in the last one, which is in yellow and black, Bo Pedersen. So he's now walking away, quite happy with the situation. The green light's on, and the way they start for heat number 18, and the first to show is in yellow and black, Bo Pedersen. Bo Pedersen in yellow and black, and the rider there in red and blue, and we've got some rider in white. That's Jens Henry Nielsen, he's the faller. There we see in slow motion, just gracefully falling out of contention, and he's now been excluded from the restart of heat number 18. So heat number 18 restarted, no rider in white, Einar Kringstad red, Kai Niemi blue, and Bo Pedersen in yellow and black. And away they start. Oh my word, Einar Kringstad gets a good gate from gate 1. So it's Kringstad in first place, Kai Niemi second, Bo Pedersen cutting up the inside. Has he got the lead? He's cut underneath Kai Niemi, but it's still Einar Kringstad. Oh, look at Kai Niemi coming back on Bo Pedersen. But they say sometimes the lesser lights provide better entertainment, and this one has been a rare old scrap considering there's not a lot at stake. Kringstad still in first place in red, Bo Pedersen in second in yellow, and Kai Niemi in blue third with 2 laps gone. Einar Kringstad, of course, he competes in the Swedish Elite League. Now coming under pressure from Bo Pedersen, who cuts up the inside of him. Still Kringstad. Pedersen trying to make up ground. Kai Niemi resigned himself to the 1 point. It's Einar Kringstad now down the back straight for the final time. Bo Pedersen, is it a do or die effort for Bo? Coming around the outside of Einar, as he got the speed. It's Einar Kringstad who just holds on. Kringstad wins. Bo Pedersen second. Kai Niemi back in third place. So Einar Kringstad ends up for this Nordic final on 5 points. 2 to good old Bo Pedersen, who ends on 6, as does Kai Niemi for the solitary third place. Einar Kringstad, the winner of heat number 18. So heat number 19, Con Iversen red, Jan Pedersen blue, Jimmy Nielsen in white, and Henrik Gustafsson in yellow and black. So 3 Swedes and 1 Dane. Keep your eyes on the riders in white and yellow and black as the tapes rise. And away they drive from the start. Has Jimmy Nielsen got the speed into the first turn? Con Iversen there and Henrik Gustafsson. Henrik Gustafsson coming right the outside of the pack. There's Henrik Gustafsson bursts through from the pack round the outside of Jimmy Nielsen to go in first place. Jimmy Nielsen second, Con Iversen third. So Henrik Gustafsson, if he can win this one, will be on 11. Jimmy Nielsen looks over his shoulder, sees that Con Iversen is back in third. So the three Swedes in scoring positions, and my word, they're looking pretty good for places in that Intercontinental final. But it's Henke Gustafsson in first place. Took a nasty fall in heat number 9, but he's bouncing back with tremendous style. Here we are in heat number 19, and we're looking pretty good for 3 points with one more lap to go. The air coming out of the back of the crash helmet. The wheel, the front wheel in the air around the final two turns of heat number 19. Henrik Gustafsson from Kumla Speedway in the Elite League takes a checker flag. We look over our shoulder, Jimmy Nielsen slowing up. Connie Everson comes through to get second place, and Jimmy Nielsen content with third. So wow, there's a bit of Swedish comradeship coming out there. Is Henrik Gustafsson plays to the gallery as he wins heat number 19, finishes on 11. Connie Everson also finishes on 11, and Jimmy Nielsen does as well. And who can blame this young fella, 19 years of age, celebrating the birth of his son just 14 days ago. Young Simon is here tonight to watch him, and he's through to the Intercontinental final of the World Championship. And the Swedish crowd love a try, and there's no better try than Henrik Gustafsson. So the final race on the calendar, although there's probably going to be a runoff for third place with three riders already on 11. Heat number 20 lineup: Peter Nolin red, Per Jonsson blue, Brian Carger in white, and Hans Nielsen in yellow and black. So still battle for positions in this particular outing. Brian Carger desperately needing the points. Per Jonsson already there as the tapes rise on heat number 20. The first to show is Per Jonsson, but Brian Carger driving around the outside of him, as does Hans Nielsen as well. Hans Nielsen out the back straight, overtakes Brian Carger. So Hans Nielsen first, Brian Carger second, Per Jonsson third, and tailed off in fourth place is Peter Nolin. So Denmark 5-1 at the moment over Sweden, with Hans Nielsen in first place. Carger coming under a little bit of pressure from Per Jonsson, who is fair to say is already through to Fjelstad on August the 12th. But Brian Carger desperately needs the points. He's got to stay out of trouble, try and hold on to second place. Hans Nielsen still in first, but one more lap to go. Looking over his shoulder, sees that Brian Carger's behind him. The race jacket come completely adrift of Hans Nielsen. Per Jonsson making up ground on Brian Carger around the final two turns. Hans Nielsen looking up, Hans Nielsen beginning to look over his shoulder, slows up, and it's Brian Carger that wins. Hans Nielsen is in second place, Per Jonsson third, and we have to ask ourselves for the second consecutive race, was the old comradeship coming out in heat number 20? And I think the answer has got to be yes. It's Brian Carger gets the 3 points, which now interestingly puts him through with a runoff with Dennis Lundqvist for the 7th and final qualifying place here in Linköping. So after 20 heats of Speedway, there we see Gemma Peterson the winner on 14, Per Jonsson second place on 12. There'll be a 4-man runoff for the third place between Jimmy Nielsen, Connie Everson, Hans Nielsen and Henrik Gustafsson. And look, a runoff for the final 7th place between Dennis Lundqvist and of course Brian Carger. But the first is the runoff for third position. It's between Jimmy Nielsen red, Henrik Gustafsson blue, Hans Nielsen white and Connie Everson in yellow and black. All these riders finishing on 11 points. And the green light goes on. Oh my word. Hans Nielsen drives over the tapes. And the white light goes on. So Hans Nielsen is excluded from the restaging of this third place runoff. So the calculations mean that Hans Nielsen finishes in 6th place on 11 points. So it's just the 3 Swedes left to battle for 3rd, 4th and 5th. And Hans Nielsen excluded for tapes offence in heat number 20. So the 3 remaining riders back to the line. Jimmy Nielsen red, gate 1. Henrik Gustafsson blue, gate 2. And on the outside in yellow and black is Connie Everson. The runoff for 3rd position of the 1990 Scandinavian Speedway final. The green light's on, and away they drive from the tapes, and the first to show is Henrik Gustafsson and Connie Everson. Jimmy Nielsen on the inside of the pack, but it's Henrik Gustafsson just from Connie Everson. Blue, yellow, red in that order. Henrik Gustafsson, just 19 years of age. Is he set for a third place position in his first ever appearance in the Nordic final? Well, he's now got a little bit of leeway between himself and Connie Everson. 2 laps gone. Henrik Gustafsson first, Connie Everson second, Jimmy Nielsen third. So at 19 years of age, surely the future is at his doorstep for the rider in blue, Henrik Gustafsson, as he takes the flag for one more lap. Connie Everson in second place in yellow, Jimmy Nielsen third in red. So what a way to celebrate the birth of your child. 14 days ago, young Simon in the crowd in Linköping to celebrate his father's win in the runoff for third place here in Linköping. In fourth place overall is Connie Everson. In fifth place is Jimmy Nielsen. But this rider in blue, Henrik Gustafsson, to the applause of the crowd, who gets third place here in Linköping. Well deserves that fact. Overcame a nasty looking fall, bounces back to gain third place on the rostrum in the 1990 Scandinavian Speedway final. His young plays to the gallery and the Swedish crowd rising to their feet. And who can blame them? So there we are, Brian Carger and Dennis Lofquist with the clerk of the course for starting positions in the runoff, the final runoff for the 7th and final qualifying place. Brian Carger is in white, Dennis Lofquist is in red. And just imagine what it must be like. What's going through their minds at the moment? Yes, a smile from Connie Everson, a rare one from the boy from Atlanta. Jano Peterson just telling his sponsor, I've done very well, sir. I'm through to the Intercontinental final. And it was on your engine. Otto Weiss, his sponsor from Germany, provides him with the engines. They've kept him busy this evening and got him first place in this Scandinavian final. All eyes now on the runoff as the 2 riders emerge from the pits. And the tension must be really mounting on these 2 young fellas. So it's Brian Carger in white, Dennis Lofquist in red. This is the final outing from Linköping. And for the winner, it's gold, it's a place in the Intercontinental final. And for the second man, it's disappointment at travelling to Fieldstead as reserved on August the 12th. So Lofquist in red, Carger in white. The runoff for the 7th and final qualifying place gets underway. The first to show just on the outside is Carger. Carger in white, Lofquist in red. Oh my word, it's awfully close out there. There's so much at stake in these 4 laps. Carger in white, Lofquist in red, and Carger now has got quite a bit of breathing space. So far there's already 4 Swedes through to Fieldstead and 2 Danes, and it looks like being 3 at the moment, and that's Lofquist has got something to say about it. But Brian Carger has got quite a bit of lead with 2 laps gone. Dennis Lofquist still trying to get a bit of grip, get a bit of tension, trying all sorts of lines to make up ground on. The rider in white, Brian Carger, coming up to take the yellow flag for one more lap. Carger looks over his shoulder, sees that Lofquist is mounting a bit of a challenge on the final lap. It's Carger in white. Lofquist now driving up the inside of Brian Carger. Carger can't make a mistake now. It's Carger in white, Lofquist in red, cutting back on Carger. It's going to be a race to the line. It's going to get there. It's just Lofquist that gets there on the line. My word, it's Lofquist in red who gets there. The crowd are going absolutely crazy. Brian Carger seemed to have the race in his pocket. All the Swedish riders are out on the track. They've got 5 men through to Fieldstead, and this one is the final qualifier. Dennis Lofquist gains the 7th and final place for that Intercontinental final. Just look at them. The mechanics and all the Swedish riders are out there to congratulate Dennis Lofquist as he gains that 7th and final place. Jano Pedersen top from Denmark on 14. Per Jonsson Sweden second on 12. Henrik Gustafsson third on 11. Connie Everson fourth on 11. Jimmy Nielsen fifth, 11. Hans Nielsen sixth on 11. And Dennis Lofquist doing the bits in that runoff in 7th place on 9. And commiserations to Brian Carger, who goes to Fieldstead as reserve on 9 points. But what a day for Swedish Speedway. This time last year in Finland, it was Denmark who had 5 riders through. And here in the Scandinavian final in Linköping, it's the Swedes with all smiles. There's the other riders who will just be known as also runs and names in history books. And Kainimi, the top man in 9th position on 6 points. But congratulations to those Swedes on making it to Fieldstead.
Right, Erik Gundersen, this was a very hard race, wasn't it?
Well, it always is in a Nordic Championship. We had a very good winner in Jano Petersen on the 14 points, but not a very good result for Danish Speedway. We only had 2 riders through, and we could have done with another rider. But the Swedish riders rode really well tonight, there's no doubt about that.
It's a sort of reverse results from last year, isn't it?
Well, you can say so. Over the last 4 or 5 years, I would say, we've had more Danes qualify than the Swedes. But the Swedes are coming up. They've got a couple of really good riders, young talents, which is coming through. And the result tonight exactly shows that. And we are sacking a little bit behind in Denmark, but I'm sure we'll make up for it in the years to come.
How would you rate all of these guys for the intercontinental ones? Most of them will probably make it one.
I hope so. I can't really see why they shouldn't do, and we need it from the Nordic countries for them to go through, but it's going to be a hard meeting. They've got the good riders coming over from England, America, Australia, and it's going to be a very hard meeting.
So we look forward to that one then.
We do indeed.
Well, it's smashing to see Erik Gundersen back in the arena with Tommy Randers, and Tommy no doubt happy with the result here as Per Jonsson waves to the crowd, the current Swedish Speedway captain, and how delighted he must be at seeing 4 of his fellow colleagues through to Felsted in Denmark for the intercontinental staging of the World Championship on August the 12th. Hans Nielsen and Jano Petersen, the 2 Danes, and on behalf of Tommy Randers and Transmission TV and Media, this is Clive Fisher for Screen Sports saying goodbye from Linköping in Sweden.